I like spaceships.
Hey, YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. And that's a Force Ghost at Hollywood Video.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Where all good things go to die.
All good things go to die. Hollywood Video was better than Blockbuster. I think so.
For a major chain, it was the most ethical. If you had to go to a major chain, it was the only one not charging you. For late fees.
Yeah, but every time I would go in there and ask them, "Hey, where's the section with all of the," they wouldn't tell me. And all video stores have them, right? What was that about? Jerks.
Oh, they were really bad toward the end when Blu-rays came out, right?
Yeah.
They doubled down on HD DVD.
Oh, right.
Did not go well.
Yeah. Wasn't HD DVD better? Like it had like more space and stuff, but then they were like phasing out extras. Or like, we don't care about that. It's an excuse to stop making extra content.
Something the thing about so I had it. I had HD DVD.
I had it with my Xbox. I had the Xbox player that hooked to the Xbox 360. Yeah, I remember that.
It would have died an early death, but Microsoft was like, "We'll double down and play the format wars." And you know, for a while they were exclusive. The Transformers film, the first one, was exclusive to HD DVD. So it was like, it's a conflicting film for me, but it's got a lot of cool moments. So I was like, I want to own it, and that's when I jumped on and knowing it wasn't gonna fucking work. Sony would just throw money at the other format. But there you go.
Look who it is. Look who's there.
How are you guys?
How's it going, Emperor?
Yeah, good. How are you, Rob? How are you, Jess?
Pretty good, man.
Good.
That's good.
Today I'm going to be doing a stream for mental health awareness to raise money with Polyhedral Paradise. And ever since I woke up, I've been spending all my life in a polyhedral paradise in my head.
Nice.
But I'm doing that at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So
is that a Gangster's Paradise riff?
Yeah, that was me not really committing, but kind of like showing you where my head is.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. I also had Let's Talk About Rex, baby. Let's talk about 21B. I can't help it. I don't want to write it. My brain does.
You're very talented.
I'm like an idiot Weird Al. I'm like Weird Al at the caveman primal level.
If Weird Al had kids and made dad jokes, there you go.
There we go. Yeah. And my kids are still too small and too young to even get where that's even coming from. They have no idea what that song is. But so anyways, Star Wars Santa says to jingle the bell and all that stuff, which is weird because do you know the way to San Jose? No. Anyways, Baymax has asked me anything, and thanks to everyone who is an old channel member. It is appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Today you can become a channel member and support the show, which is super appreciated. But also you could subscribe to the channel today, and that helps too. That's nice.
And
so Baymax is about to start a fun run for fun. Sorry, Back to the Future Part 3. You either get it or you don't.
Only Chris.
I'm about to start a run, so I'm gonna fire some questions in now. All right, let's talk about what Baymax wants to talk about. What's on Baymax's mind? And I still think he should be Raymax with the little Ray face on top of that adorable body of his. So he says, "Are you aware of any ships in any of the new Disney Plus shows that have the potential to become iconic classic spaceships like the Falcon, X-Wing, TIE fighters were? For me, the Ghost has that potential. I think kind of in a weird way. You almost answered it, yourself in a sense. That I think the Ghost is probably what has the most potential, and I think that's almost just based off of the fact that it's not a terrible design. It's been around for a few years, and when I see it, I don't go like, when I look at it. And it's kind of showing up in little places everywhere. So I think exposure is like really important to that kind of stuff. Like, don't you guys like the fact that you just see something over and over again and it doesn't become an eyesore, then all of a sudden it becomes like, how did they ever design that? When it's
for me, I'm not much of an animation guy, but for me, the Razor Crest is pretty iconic. I was a bit surprised, very surprised they actually blew it up, but I think that's cool looking shit.
Yeah. I question the whole thing with blowing up the Razor Crest when they did, not because a bunch of adults spent $400 or something, whatever it was on that ship. I think that's completely like an irrelevant thing. Yeah, sorry, Rob.
Okay,
sorry, Rob. But hey, you did open it on the show, so I say you got what you got.
I still haven't opened it. It's in the box.
It's still in the box.
Still sealed.
But I also think that the Razor Crest though is ugly. I think for something to become iconic, it has to be kind of like a little bit sexy. And that ship was a little bit like a dude's apartment. It was like the dude's apartment of Star Wars, it had a urinal in it and shit.
Yeah.
But like when I was a kid, I would see an X-wing and I'd be like, I want that. I want to fly that. I would draw it. I would have to play with it. You know what I mean? And like
much sexier.
Yeah. And like I'm still surprised. But also kind of weird, like as a kid when the TIE Interceptor came out. That shit, like I was in love with TIE Interceptors. I was like, they made a TIE fighter cooler. I don't know how they did it, but they made it like it's gonna poke your eyes. I love it, Yeah. But then like just playing Lego Star Wars with the kids the other day, and I was like, you know what? Classic TIE fighters are pretty fucking cool, man. So yeah. But we'll have to see how much the Ghost is in Ahsoka and to what extent. And what they do with it in the series, and if it has like any great moments, because that's like the original like Falcon, that it's not that big of a deal today because editing has come so far from where it used to be in 77. But the gunner port sequence from A New Hope where they're in the Falcon when the gunners, that was like, if you watch from Star Wars to Jedi, they like literally champion that as a feature of the film. And today it's more of like one of those things where like, oh, they're doing that. I'm gonna, go get a soda right now. That's the moment where I go up and get a soda or something.
Take shit.
Yeah. It's been done to death, and it's like really basic. So I don't know. I'm like super hesitant about Disney Plus and visual effects sequences. I still haven't got one that I don't want to spend like all day dogging on something anymore, but it's like Book of Boba, like the ending stuff of that with the Rancor. For me, it felt like really good TV, in terms of like but it's not the same as like a cinematic visual effects sequence for me. And it wasn't like the opening of Revenge of the Sith or a pod race, or you know what I mean. It just didn't have that.
Yeah.
That level of exhilaration.
Hey, speaking of pod racing, like that pod race in 1999, it still fucking holds up so well. Like I watched it, like a few weeks ago. I'm like, fuck, this looks good. You know what I mean? This still looks good, and it just goes to show like how far advanced they were back in the late 90s. I mean, that shit looks fucking great still. I don't know what Rob thinks about it because he's VX guy, but I love the pod race.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
No, I did a great job. My only complaint is the puppets are not Henson quality puppets, but I feel that way across the board, including Yoda. The whole film, the puppets are very, they're almost Farscape was Henson. They're very like British TV. I don't know how to describe it. Kind of static. You know what I mean?
I think you nailed it because it was British TV puppeteers who made
then
this.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, Farscape actually at times had excellent puppets. They brought them in by the Farscape people were brought in for Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. By Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, those were Henson folks, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were Australian. They were Australian Henson folks.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah,
Australian Henson. There's a difference, Chris. There's a difference. You know that.
Apparently so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was Farscape, if I remember correct, was a Henson production made in Australia. So they brought in local talent and trained people and stuff like that to work on it. And even the main bad guy from Farscape played Tarkin in that weird makeup scene. Yeah,
that's him.
Yeah, I will never understand why they decided to go with at one point they did a visual effects test where they made Tarkin. It looks just like him. Then they said, you know what? Let's make him look young, though. He looks like the old guy. Let's make him look young. And then he looks like really strange in Revenge of the Sith. And if you were going to do that, why not just recast?
Yeah.
Why not just find a guy with Peter Cushing style features?
Kiefer Sutherland wouldn't do it, Jason. I wanted a young Tarkin was a young Kiefer Sutherland.
I'm saying Kiefer Sutherland as adult Corky Kenobi. Come on, let's do it in the sequel trilogy era.
Corky
Kenobi.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm telling you.
Chris Kattan's just mad. You know?
Oh, God.
It was my name.
Chris Kattan. Man, I forgot about that guy.
Not me. Weirdest lips in Hollywood.
Okay. Baymax says the prequel and sequel trilogy missed out on giving us some home-based ship that the Falcon was for the heroes. Yeah, me and Baymax have talked about this before. Prequel trilogy was too expansive a story, and sequel trilogy that they were hardly ever together. Filoni seems to have realized this. Yeah, I'm curious what the methodology is on that. Like, does Filoni realize the fact that you need that home? I want to say that the Rebels story group, when they were putting together all of that fucking we're a family shit, you know? Like I said, show me they're a family, don't tell me. If you show me, I'm totally in. But on the other side, if you tell me, you really annoy me. So, but yeah. And
on that note, one of the best show me don't tell me animes I've ever seen is an anime called Ranking of Kings. It may look very simple. You'll look at it and go, oh, this looks like for little kids. I assure you, it's Game of Thrones wrapped in a Ponyo Dragon Quest blanket.
Okay.
Just give it 4 episodes and be horrified.
Yeah.
it's great. But they do.
Huh? Did it come out a while ago, or is it pretty
October of last year? So I think it's on the 2nd season now. It's 2 seasons in. I just started watching it, but the basic premise is it's got a little prince who's deaf and mute, and his father's a giant, and he dies, and he makes him king. Sorry. And no one's like, you're not quite, it's Game of Thronesy. Like,
he just tears shit up. Yeah, nice.
But because he can't speak or hear, there's a lot of like watching. You know what I mean? They show a lot of stuff, so it's quite good.
That's cool.
Huh. Yeah, that's like super important. Like the like I said, the story group, I feel like laid out. And when I said the story group at that time, I mean like whatever it was, like Kinberg and what was that? What was that Batman show? I know, but what was the Batman show? God, what's his name? It was a Teen Titans show that was animated.
Brave and the Bold.
Nah, it had the guy.
No, there was Teen Titans Go. There was Teen Titans, Young Justice.
Young Justice. They had the guy. What was his name? It was like with the J and the W, maybe. Anyways, the guy who did that show was brought in, and I think that guy might have rocked a lot of the good ideas that were in that show, but then he leaves. But I think that it in Rebels, and I think that they really laid out how things were supposed to work, but then sometimes in the execution of the show, they just straight up told you.
Yeah.
As opposed to showing you.
It's also a shame that the Ghost wasn't the ship for the sequels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, given that it's based on the original Falcon design, like that would have been a really nice callback to the Macquarie stuff, you know, like, and it had history
Do you
for the
think?
fans.
Do you think if they had done that instead, we would be saying the real shame is that they didn't just use the Millennium Falcon?
Oh, I would
Okay.
say somewhere in the Falcon should have been there, but I don't think they needed, like Han Solo could have been using that, you know, like,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, it could have been another thing for Kylo to destroy at some point, you know, like, because
Yeah.
that scene where the deleted scene where he walks into the Falcon, you know, it's should be in the film. It's quite good.
I would give the credit though that Baymax is giving to Dave Filoni to Ryan Johnson, because the end of the Last Jedi, you have a group of rebels on the Millennium Falcon, and she's like, "We got everything we need," and you know what I mean, like with that right there, and it was kind of true. I mean, when you get down to like what the stories had been doing, and but yeah, at the same time, like what's kind of weird is like in a story, the real question is there enough room to ever do a Millennium Falcon again when you have the Millennium fucking Falcon in that story? It's a
Right.
big universe, but in reality, like I myself included, probably at times about how it's a big universe, does everybody have to know each other? The answer is fucking yes. Do I want a Marvel universe where Captain America doesn't know Iron Man because it's a big world? It's fucking dumb. That's like, you know what I mean. So, but you have the Millennium Falcon, and I think in a way it's kind of a, it could be kind of a problem. But the Ghost is a good surrogate Millennium Falcon, has a lot of exposure, and as time goes on, we may see it. You know, when the Falcon gets tired as a setting, it could be something that if they do just to keep like refreshing it.
All it comes down to, Jason, is them to just create a good sequence.
Yeah.
You know, like look at what happens when you look at the Batmobile sequence in the current Batman film versus the ones Zack Snyder did that no one remembers, right? Where it's just like a CG vehicle kind of flying around and driving through boats. Like it's not memorable, but the Nolan stuff was memorable. It really comes down to just creating a sequence to showcase the vehicle you want to do, and that's a filmmaker driven, you know, moment.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah.
You know, another thing about it though too is like, and this isn't like a second guessing, like let's just rewrite everything sort of idea, but if, for instance, Maz Kanata's castle hadn't been destroyed, and that's where all of the stuff took place, and then was destroyed in the final film, would we have felt that Maz Kanata's castle was like the Falcon in a way? It doesn't get to go blow up the Death Star, but
No.
you know.
Would have been a cool
mean,
location though. The fact that they just don't. The only location we really go back to in the sequels is Batu, or what the Jedi planet. What is that called? O2.
Octu.
There's too many twos. Jakku, Octu, Baktu. Fucking namings, man.
Fuck
You know
you.
what I mean?
I'm from Fuck
right. Yeah,
you.
fuck you. That's how I feel like when they do this shit. I'm like, you can't. Come on. Other syllables, anything, motherfuckers. So, anyway, yeah, destroying. I'm not. If I have one real criticism, I have two real criticisms of The Force Awakens. Just the Phasma giving up the code keys is just ridiculously stupid. Doesn't make any sense. The other thing is they annihilate Maz's castle in like 3 seconds. It's like, well, then why even fucking do that? Like, I don't. You know, it's cool, but you don't spend enough time with it to be emotionally attached. It'd be like blowing up Ben Kenobi's hut. All right. You know what I mean? Like, give us some more time there or something. Like,
so where they were going with that originally, like, was the guys from the raid were supposed to follow them to Maz Kanata's castle and bring the First Order. When Han Solo gets away, Harrison Ford gets injured in real life. The Falcon door hits him. They can't reschedule, so they can't do it. So things get like turned around. They're supposed to have like a bigger fight there, and then the castle gets destroyed. And then, but the castle being destroyed was supposed to push Maz Kanata into the fold with Rey, Finn, BB-8, and Chewbacca and Han Solo before he dies. and then what was gonna, and she was supposed to be in the end stuff. Like I even had like blueprints of how when they did the base on Daquar at the end, they had like all of this stuff where they had built tracks under the ground so puppeteers could be under there with a puppet of her, and that they can do it. And then they just decided, oh, when all that stuff got reconfigured after Ford's injury, all that shit went away. And but you know, we already built that castle set all blown up. We're gonna use it.
So she was meant to have a much bigger role.
Yeah, she was supposed to be our Yoda. She was supposed to be this smuggler force user who rejected who was sort of like an Ahsoka Tano, who knew that the Jedi didn't have their shit down. They weren't right. They were kind of corrupt. She wanted anything to like do with it. And it was going to be like she was going to be accepting her place. I'm supposed to be a Jedi Master. And she's like 1,000 years old. She knows how to use the Force, and she was going to be our Yoda. But the problem was that they never figured out how to use Luke. And then I believe it was Rain Roberts who suggested, what if Luke Skywalker's not in the movie until the very end, and then we could pick up from there. They all said that's a great idea. But what you end up having is now you have, well, we're going to get to Luke at the end, and in episode 8, Rian Johnson's going to write Rey bringing Luke back into the fold. What do we need Maz Kanata for?
Yeah. So episode 9, 10 or 9 or whatever. Like,
I mean,
if Luke dies at the end of fucking 9, you know what I mean? Yeah. Maz would have been like, you know what? That's the catalyst to pick up the fucking save, you know, to do my fucking part, you know, like.
Or when Carrie Fisher died in real life, and then instead, right. You know, instead they were like, you know what, we have a good gimmick. Let's
reanimate Carrie with unused footage. You know, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It was. I do have sympathy for. Yeah, I do have sympathy for them in the situation that they were in that place in history and time and the real life tragedy of it, and trying to figure out what was the best idea to move forward and stuff like that. But I do ultimately think that it was the worst idea for all of it, you know,
but I would say this,
for
Jason,
Leia and for Maz.
As a creator, often the seeds of our original idea on something, despite all the iterations it goes through, whenever you're like lost on a project, if you go back to the original fucking thing you wrote down, it's kind of there. You know what I mean? Like, even though that configuration was so like that Maz idea is an original idea, if you just go back to it, it's there. Yeah. It was there, and you can make that work. You know, like I always just find that anytime I'm lost on something, I try to go back to that initial kernel, rather than trying to keep reiterating to the point where you're no longer on the initial idea. Have you ever worked on anything for people where you've shown them the sketch, and then as you work on it at the end, or anything that you're doing, by the time you have the completed project, they're like, what happened? You got so far away from that thing you showed me, man. Like, what, you know, hey, that's a hard lesson to learn as an artist. I mean, you learn it fast in production because of the turnaround, but that is the hardest thing for new artists to like get past. Like you can't, you know, get so far away from the initial concept, and that initial concept, I mean, Lucas, you know, he wrote a lot of weird shit back in 74, 75, but the initial kernel is all there, you know, and the more he sticks to that initial kernel, the closer you get to the essence of Star Wars that we recognize. And I don't know. I just think about that.
Yeah, I kind of think what you're saying is sort of what they try and do with the Ralph McQuarrie milking, you know.
Yeah, that sometimes though, man, it just comes across as like
I don't like it.
Else.
No, I don't like it. I think
especially when you got Doug Chang's alive, and I got to be honest, if you look at, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, McQuarrie did a lot, but a lot was also, those ships were smooth. The model builders really helped make, you know what I mean? Like taking that Falcon shape, and then if we just throw 1 million model pieces over this, then you get the Millennium Falcon, you know? Like
it was like we've talked about a million times. It was a silhouette, and then the closer you look at it, there's just a bunch of stuff, and you're like, whoa, what does all that do? My brain, man, it's fried. Bimex says, thus, the ghost is our anchor point and home for the Rebels King. Yeah. And we'll have to see how it feels in Ahsoka. Like I said, was just got it confirmed again. They're all in it. They're all in the Ahsoka show. You know, it's happening. I don't know, but I actually don't know about Zeb, but I know, you know, obviously Sabine, Hera, Chopper, the Ghost, Ezra Bridger, yeah, they're all there. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we go down that route. It would be kind of weird to go down that route and then not bring Zeb in.
Yeah,
but we'll see, right? I mean, every time something seems logical, it might not be practical. So for them, it depends. Baymax says, I hope Ghost gets to become the next Millennium Falcon in live action. It's a great design and it felt as much a character as any of the crew itself. It's about spaceships. Yeah, you know, you're right. I mean, like space and place is super important. Not to get overly academic on this stuff, but it really is. And that's kind of like one of the problems with I think the prequel trilogy ever feeling comforting. Is like every single time there's someplace, it's a stale, cold environment. Like at first you think maybe it's going to be the Queen ship and the Anubian, and no, but you have scenes with a little boy who's freezing his ass off, missing his mom, going, "This isn't comfortable. I don't really like it here." And then you have like a bunch of like extras in the background that just make it feel like it's not like you can't take off your shoes. You know, you don't feel that for the characters. And then when you get to and then they change it again, make it a smaller one. Make it, I don't know why. I guess the set would have been too big for just 2 characters, so they made a smaller one. And then when you get to Revenge of the Sith, it's the same one, but once again, Obi-Wan's just hiding in closets and shit. It's weird. Good evening, Mr. Patrick Boyle. So yeah, and then Baymax goes on to say, second question, while you and Hayden and Rosario are still young, we should be getting live action Clone Wars. That's a no-brainer for Disney. And your thoughts? Yeah, I'm with you there. I am hoping that as we start to see this flashback sequence in Kenobi with young Obi-Wan and young Anakin, and I haven't seen it, but I'm of the opinion that when you have the living actors who, you know, they haven't gained 400 pounds or anything. It's this general same like physicality there and stuff. It should be a pretty economical and easy and effective way of de-aging those characters in that scene. If that looks great, if it doesn't look like they all have, you know, Instagram fucking shiny filters on their face, I think it'll definitely open up that potential. And but I don't think that they would. I would love if they did, but I don't think that they would ever do like an Obi-Wan and Anakin, like straight up the Clone Wars cartoon, but now it's live action. I don't think they would ever necessarily go that way, but I can see them doing like, here's a story and a battle and those characters pertain. I think that that would be the more probably like realistic way of going about it.
And maybe be called The Adventures of Plo Koon.
The Adventures of Plo Koon, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And he's going to take off that mask. You're going to see he's got big size noodle lips under there.
I think we're going to see Plo Koon in the Ahsoka series, by the way. Because he's the one who brings child Ahsoka to the Jedi Temple. And if we do end up seeing lots of different elements of Ahsoka's life, Dave Filoni's going to want to show that moment. He showed it in the Clone Wars in one of the war. You know, it's like one of those little tiny clips during the VO part, during the narrator setup. And but I kind of think that we may see Plo Koon in that and him bringing her to the Jedi Temple.
It almost didn't happen, Jason, because Plo Koon's agent is a fucking bitch. I can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah.
Well, they made Plo Koon concept art for season 2 of the Mando, didn't they?
Well, they used Plo Koon as the surrogate for Luke Skywalker to trick people who were on the production into not being able to like leak.
Concept art, and it said Mando season 2, and it's just Plo Koon. So
yeah,
I mean, he's on their mind. So wouldn't surprise me if we do see him.
I'm working on the title, and I think it's going to be called Better Call Plo Koon. I think we're going to
Better
go
call.
You know who you sound like that voice from? You sound like that creepy guy from Family Guy. You know,
yeah. You know they base that off me.
Oh, do they?
I heard they based it off Plo Koon. So James says super chats are appreciated, is what James says. But James Krusek, he sent an email.
Nice.
And, yeah,
he heard my
Jason,
call.
my apologies for being MIA for the past month. As I'm sure you know, life sometimes gets in the way and makes it difficult to do all the things you really want to do. Also, I thought
jazz metal.
Also, I thought it would be best for Rob if I just stepped back a bit, so hopefully his obsession would subside and the healing process could truly begin. But yesterday, I finally found time to listen to the show, and what do I hear? A few minutes in, Rob mentioning me once more.
What a coincidence!
I can only imagine how many call-outs I might have missed in my absence. This is a disturbing escalation, and I fear that this means Rob is beyond my help and might need a more aggressive form of treatment. Perhaps like
the old ball and gag trick, huh, James?
Perhaps like the one Dorothy received in Return to Oz. What's worse is I fear Rob's obsession might be having a Halloween 3 like effect on the listeners of the show, as his obsessive tendencies have been rubbing off on me. As I have already stated, I have been much busier than usual, but this is all due to Rob's previous comments about me. For weeks now, I've been working feverishly on story treatments for my Guillermo del Toro directed Star Wars series. Not to brag, but it's fucking amazing. Would you expect anything less from a guy who knows Star Wars just as well as George Lucas? Not convinced? Then just request a free copy of my version of Episode 7. If that weren't enough, I have dedicated countless hours to learning. I have dedicated countless hours to learning jazz guitar. Unlike Star Wars, where I just shit out story gold left and right, I have zero experience in playing jazz. So writing a piece in 13/8 time has been a bit daunting.
Oh, yeah. He just learned that.
I have been ideas to reduce my stress levels. So I will be taking a break from all things on Monday, and hopefully I can make an appearance on the show. Jason, I trust your judgment in assessing Rob's mental stability, so I will leave this to you.
Yeah, you leave it to the guy who quotes fucking Greasy Strangler every day. Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I know my shit. I know cinema.
So and make a pieta.
Sometimes I think Rob struggles just being around giants. You know what I mean? I get it though. I get it. We're great men, James. We're great men.
It's the short people I get along with. Call them tall folks and fucking assholes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, how's it going, Wolfpack? Welcome to hanging out with us today. Salvador Mendez says there is a rumor about a big event after Mando 3. Do you think it is the continuation of the Skywalker saga 10 through 12? I don't actually put much in those kind of rumors, because without there being like a firm detail that grounds it, like for instance, I could say, oh, they're going to announce Star Wars Visions. They're making Visions 2, and they're going to announce it at Celebration. Oh, you don't fucking say. You don't. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have like any true grounding to it. It's just it's as we always say, it's fan math, basic ass fan math at that. And so, will they make 10 through 12? I believe that they will. I've always kind of been of the opinion that before they do the 10 through 12 of the Skywalker saga, they would probably try their own hand at a different trilogy. And then it either connects and they're good to go, or it doesn't. And guess what? Everybody, you can relax. We're going back to Skywalker saga. Everybody relax. You know what I mean? It's a win. It's a win for losing for them in that way, I think. But how's it going, Chief? even Chevens. So and oh yeah, there's James reminding me that we've got mail. So Sheev says, so those Clone Wars.
Read my email. Please read it.
See you on Monday, James, if you're around.
See you on Monday, James.
See you on Monday,
Chaz, man.
So those Clone Wars flashbacks. So those Clone Wars flashbacks in Ahsoka, though. Yeah, that's I think it's the most appropriate of any show they've done. I would also throw back in the potentiality for Rebels flashbacks. That's something else that people should consider. I mean, in the sense that if there's two guns of flashbacks that we could have, either ones that show new moments we never saw, which is the most likely, but also story elements that may pertain that were in animation that you can't expect people to have watched 4 or 5 seasons of a show to understand. So there is a potential that we could see elements from Star Wars Rebels itself recreated in Star Wars Ahsoka, like for instance her duel with Darth Vader. I mean, it would be a way of getting Darth Vader into the show. They already got the Darth Vader. It would be a way of sort of, you know, as she explains the past, maybe they could do something like that. And I think that would be cool. I also think it would elevate is canonicity a word? I don't know, but I'm going to make it up if it's not. But the canonicity of Rebels and of the animated projects, because I do think that a lot of people who haven't seen those shows will easily dismiss animation as if it's just like, oh well, yeah, who fucking cares? It's just animation. They'll just move on from it. But Dave Filoni made those shows, and that's what I think is the bread and butter here. Is he's not going to erase his own work. He's gonna expound upon it and improve it. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe saw elements of the Lothal Temple from season 2, the opening with Vader, and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we could see some of those moments recreated in live action.
Well, Jason, I don't really know if canonicity is real, but I think you and the Ultimate Warrior would totally get Destrucity, which I don't know if you're familiar with Destrucity, Jason, but it is living the one's life in the way of the warrior, according to the Ultimate Warrior's 8 disciplines. Yeah.
I'm a bushwhacker. I'm sorry, I'm a bushwhacker. I ain't got time for that.
Yes. Physical beliefs. Moment of mastery is the 3rd one. The 4th one's attitude. 5th one's commitment. 6 is association. I don't know what that means. 7 is integrity, and 8 is wisdom. I guess if your friends are the Ultimate Warrior, it says something about you, right? I guess that's what he's saying.
So the best day ever was when I went to the 99-cent store and they had a big old end cap with stacks and stacks of Hulk Hogan's music CD for Hulkster in Heaven. And he has this part where it's like he's rapping about this kid with cancer, and then he just drops, "Always swim with a buddy." For no reason, he says, "Always swim with a buddy." I'm like, did the kid drown? What's going on here, Hulkster? But fuck Hulk Hogan, Iron Sheik for life. Sheev the Wise says it's not about spaceships, Baymax. Hey, Meg, how you doing? I hope the move and all that jazz is going well. Alberto says, is there news about the Lando series? You know, I go on that Lando series. I am hoping it happens, but it's the one that feels the furthest away. And one question that may come up even today, so we'll just hit it now. If it does, is that what are they going to announce at Celebration? On one hand, they may not announce anything. It may just be the panels.
Boba Fett season 2.
It's Boba Fett season 2, but they may. I mean, it's about like new things that we don't know anything about or that were barely announced, like Lando, and like what's coming, because as we're moving into later 2022 and 2023 is not that far off. I mean, it's still 8 months away, but in terms of productions and stuff, 2023 content, we're kind of getting to the point where we should start to get big announcements down the road that tell us what's coming in 2024, what's coming in 2025, and stuff like that. And it could just be a bunch more of the same shit. It could be like Ahsoka's been called a limited series and not. I'm not sure if Ahsoka is a limited series. I think it's maybe a self-contained story that's just being sort of treated as such. Boba was always meant like there will be more, but I have a feeling politically it may be better for the Mando, if Mando continues, to just start to take in those Boba Fett stories into the Mandalorian storyline. After all, we experienced the best Boba Fett stories through the Mando in his own series. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that happen, but we'll see. I think we'll know more about, or we could guess better once Mando season 3 comes out, and we could compare it to the Book of Boba Fett numbers. I suspect it will be much, much larger than Book of Boba Fett, but I could be wrong.
The numbers don't lie. Book of Boba Fett will be the king of all the Disney Plus shows. None will do better.
Yeah, but we know at the end of the day, Disney doesn't care about quality; they care about the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
No, they could have made The Empire Strikes Back, and if it had lower numbers than Book of Boba Fett, you're not getting Empire Strikes Back 2. You're getting more Book of Boba Fett. I mean, that's just how they are.
That's why I made Return of the Jedi, Jason. That's it's technically a prequel to Book of Boba Fett.
Robert Sinclair says, every time I try to join the channel, I get a Google error message with a monkey wearing a hard hat and tool belt. I've tried on my phone and iPad, so maybe I'll pull out the laptop. Yeah, thank you, Robert, for becoming a channel member and trying. YouTube does not make it easy on us for some reason. It's like they don't like, then they take a portion of the money. So I don't know why they don't like making money. But Robert, yeah, the best thing to do is just to go to make youtube.com. I think it's /MakingStarWars video, or just find the channel on your computer and then hit the join button. For whatever reason, that's like a lot easier. I suspect, I don't know anything about it. I suspect they don't want to open up the avenue of being able to pay via like Apple Pay and stuff like that, where they lose even more money or something. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Only OnlyFans makes it just as difficult to buy something, right, Jason? You know,
right? Yeah,
right.
So, I want those Star Wars Santa feet pics, and I get them. I get some.
They make it difficult.
Star Wars Big says, never been a fan of the spaceships. Tentative 3 was okay. What? There was a 3? I don't know. Hey, Mike, how's it going, dude? Welcome to the show. Soundwave, I am Soundwave 815. Sup, fellas? Thank you for being a channel member, dude. Much appreciated.
Awesome.
Yeah, sup, fellas? TIE Interceptors are my favorite ship till episode 3, Jeffy Starfighter, which is an interceptor, basically. My name is Jeffy. Rascal says
Jeffy cakes, they're fucking horrible. Right, Jeffy. Right, Chris?
I've never heard of them before, so I can't comment.
Never heard of a Jeffy cake?
What is that? I don't know what you're talking about either. Is this
it's like a Joffrey cake, but it's made with Jeffs. Like, who doesn't heard of that?
Joffrey from Game of Thrones?
Hey. Also, Ranking of Kings has a Joffrey-like character. Looks just like him. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Does it have a kid who's like 9, still drinking tit milk like Luke Skywalker, throwing people out into little holes, like also like Luke Skywalker in a weird way?
There's something, man, it would spoil it, but there's something pretty disturbing about drinking something about episode 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Blow your mind. You'll be like, I can't believe I just saw that. Yeah.
All right.
I'll say that.
Wrestle. Hey, I like the wrestle. Obi-Wan in the final battle will wear his white suit of Revenge of the Sith. In the video, he is seen with a tunic. You mean like his Revenge of the Sith thing? Yeah, we've seen that video of him, right? And he has the actual like Obi-Wan cloak on. Something else I saw, he doesn't have it on, and to me when I saw it, it just looked like pretty much his like Revenge of the Sith clothing to me. So, but at the same time, when you just look at the course of the story, you know, he ends up on Jabim, and then he goes from, and then I think they drop Leia on Alderaan, and so maybe he gets some new clothes, some new Obi-Wan Kenobi clothes on Alderaan. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the logistics of this are, if they even attempt. For all I know, he just all of a sudden has clothes, But I haven't seen it, so I can't say yet. But it's a good question. Sheev the Wise says, "I've always liked Slave One. The Falcon never did anything for me." You know what was weird, Sheev, was as a kid, like I was familiar with the movies, but like certain like ships that have sort of like, let me ask you guys this: has Slave One become iconic? Is Slave One iconic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, about 1986, 87, I'm like 7, 8 years old, and I go to the Cypress swap meet, and that's where I find it. There were college kids that had Star Wars toys, and they would sell their toys at the college swap meet to try to make extra money as college students. And so that's how I got like a lot of Star Wars stuff after Star Wars wasn't in stores anymore. That's why I got like most of the first rounds of that stuff for me. And didn't know what the Slave One was.
Yep.
As a kid, I was like, "What the fuck is this? It looks cool. It's definitely a Star Wars ship. It's in the movie, I'm sure." So I bought it, and then one day while I'm watching the movies, that's when I realized, oh, it's Boba Fett's spaceship. It's stuff like that. But I feel like it wasn't maybe until around the like 90s that you started to see that ship really showing up in things, and even when they brought back Dark Empire, they didn't bring back Slave One. They're like, "Oh, it's gone. We don't know. It got destroyed." It was like Slave Two. It was some real tired ass idea like that. And yeah, so it's kind of interesting. But I would say Slave One has definitely like made it into the public consciousness after the 90s, and then obviously Attack of the Clones and stuff like that. It's recognized as the light post that it is. Sheev says, otherwise I always like lightsabers. It's not about spaceships. It's about lightsabers. Meg says, to be honest, Boba's starship sequence in chapter 14 of Mando was insane. Yeah, that was a pretty good use of the old ship. Like I said, like the live action television shows, they have their moments where they come close, but at the same time, I still like that the sequence in Attack of the Clones a lot better. If I had to hold them up against one another, and the moments that I like of it are like when it's kind of like recalling things. So I don't know what to think about that. Sheev says, I thought of episode 4 of Book of Boba Fett when he got the ship back was incredible. Hey. Everyone's gonna get Chewbacca on me here. Eric Denton, how's it going, Eric? Almost completed Lego Star Wars. Have to start Tross. Is the Lego version of the story better? Yeah, actually, in a weird way, it's a lot tighter. To be honest with you, yeah, Ming, I said tighter. It is though. It's a lot. It's a little bit. I don't know if I'd say better, but it definitely like almost flows. Has a little bit more logic to it. But the thing about that game is the game isn't in those 9 episodes. It's in what's after. I have like the kids are on spring break, and I have played. I got to be like 60 hours into that game. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know how much time I'm into the game now, but I have 400 of the Kyber bricks that you go around the universe doing quests for and stuff. And there's like 1,200. There's just so much fucking to that game. And some of it's dopey, some of it's just stupid, but some of the best stuff is actually in that part of the game. So just enjoy it, Lego fan 2001 says, so a long time ago, LRM reported that Agent Kallus would show up in Kenobi. To the best of my knowledge, I have not heard that. And I don't think that there's any connection or that to that actual point. But you could have him there and as a background character with the Inquisitors, but at the same time, I don't think so. And Adira Varma's character probably takes over some of that. Obviously, I have revealed that she is a double agent of sorts. She's good. She's an Imperial, but she's good. I think stands to show us that not everybody in the Empire likes their station in life and what's happened to the galaxy, but that's nonetheless where they find themselves. And but she's so as far as I know, I can't vouch for that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I don't know anything about it. I haven't heard anything about Callus being in it. And I almost think that we would have the casting of who was playing Callus if that was the case, probably. But then again, it could just be a background character who they got, somebody from one of the extras modeling sites who looks the part and have him stand there, and then he doesn't play into anything else, so it doesn't matter. But I don't think so. And then I haven't heard anything.
I'm waiting for that big Forlom fucking sequence to drop, dude. When he takes over the whole show, and it becomes Forlom's moment.
Okay. I don't remember if I talked about this yet, but I'll drop a little bit of something that I'll probably put. I'll probably put something in the show right now that maybe I haven't talked about before. Should I?
Yeah.
Should I do it? All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Super chat me. Pay me, bitches. I'm kidding. Kinda. Seriously, pay me. So there's this moment. I don't remember if I talked about this. So if I have, don't beat me up. But there's when Obi-Wan goes into the spice den, right? And he's like sneaking around. He can't use his lightsaber. He's like going through all this like weird creatures, like people like all fucking passed out and fucking like, all fucked up and shit. And there's this point where there's this big hallway fight, and he goes through the hallway fight, and it's like probably going to be it should, I think, by the sound of things, be one of the cooler fight sequence moments in the series, where we just see like Kenobi going, just hand to hand and using the gun and stuff. But there's this moment where he looks like he's fucked, and he opens up a box and fucking throws spice in everybody's faces. They get like spice and then they're all like fucking like they get all high. He like gets the whole fucking gang high, and they're all like, oh, fucking falling over stone, and then he just like walks out.
Aeronauts is gonna have a field day with that sequence.
Oh, they are. Aeronauts, get ready. Yeah,
they should be doing the goal laps, running around screen. You know what I
mean?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, but he basically throws spice in their faces. Yeah.
Do you think when people are tripping on spice, they see Trandoshans? Is that? Just wondering.
Yeah, and but it is in that sequence that I've seen like set pics from that set and stuff like that, and I gotta say there's a 4 LOM style droid there. I did see it, but it's not him, unless he's been redesigned and is different. So gotta say, we'll have to see how that goes.
It's for Los, for the love of space.
For all I know, they ended up doing that sequence and we're like, we should just make that for LOM. Might as well just go there. You might as well just do it. Maybe they changed it, but when I saw the elements of that stuff, I don't believe it is, for what it's worth. Hey, Tyrant, thank you for being a channel member, dude. Appreciate it as always. What's up, crew? Money idea. Live action R2 and 3PO spa day. I am curious what this fucking a droid story is. Like, what is that? Like they, you know what I mean? Like I'm curious. But we saw Anthony Daniels doing mocap for it. And so it's either CGI animation and they're really wanting to get the which by the way I think is a good thing to have his body in the archive, so to speak, so that way they can recreate 3PO accurately in the future, however they may need to. But I'm curious if that is going to be what we think it is. If it's going to be as lame of a thing as you would expect. I don't know. You know what I
I
mean?
was thinking about this the other day, and coincidentally you brought up the spice. I'm like, seems to me droids should be the ones running spice in Star Wars, because they can't use their own shit, and they would love to get humans hooked on, to have control over humans, right? Like, seems like droids would be the natural spice dealers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, they would. Like IG-88. It's cool.
Yeah.
Can't get kicked on my can't get hooked on my own product.
Yeah.
That would be great.
He does the hand. There's a droid.
He's like the Simpsons kid, the Simpsons bully.
Yeah. The Simpsons. Nelson.
Darth Del Rio. Thank you for being a channel member. I heard you guys mention a couple of times that Ralph McQuarrie quit Return of the Jedi because of the Ewoks. What's the story behind that? It's not exactly as like fucking Ewoks, but what happened was that he had worked on Star Wars well before Star Wars was even like really truly greenlit, and he's working on it. But then there's another side thing here that I think is important too in terms of the narrative. He was getting pulled away to other projects. He was doing Battlestar, things that were pissing off George Lucas too. So it wasn't like they were like super like happy about that kind of stuff. But what ends up happening is he's working on Return of the Jedi, designing stuff. He's super stressed out, and I guess he had this like wooden cabinet, is the story, that he was working on, and he needed to finish the cabinet. He wanted to finish it, and he's sitting there drawing Ewoks, and he's just like, "This isn't really what I don't really want to do this." And then
what's life for?
Yeah, what's life for? He's looking at the cabinet, I guess, and then he's like, "I would rather finishing that cabinet right now." And so that was sort of where that's when he knew, you know what, my heart isn't in this anymore. And so that's when he walks away, so there you go.
Do you think he was looking at it and looking back at the Ewok and looking back at the cabinet, and Lucas was peering in, and he saw that moment, and he's like, I can use this. I can use this sequence for the film,
Well, what's left out of the stories inside that cabinet was a bunch of spice. He just really wanted to get high. I have watched like most of the first season of Better Call Saul, but then I decided I think I watched the first season, and then I missed the second season because of life stuff, and then I just decided I was gonna wait until it's all done. So now that it's like pretty much there, I'm probably gonna start watching it. So yeah, look forward to me talking about a show after it's done, way after,
Oh, I've watched all the seasons several times, so well versed.
Has the ending of Better Call Saul aired?
No, the sixth
season
and final
starting,
season
right?
starts this week.
Okay.
It starts this week.
Okay.
So, and it's going to run, I think, 10 weeks, right? One a week. So
yeah,
it's still traditionally broadcast. So
okay. So Luis, how's it going? He says, so weird to see only 39 people watching. While Jason Ward is the most important Star Wars fan informer out there, while Star Wars Theory has thousands. Hey, I hope Theory keeps his thousands. No, I don't want to see him, but yeah, it is a little bit weird. But I also think I talk about titty milk and stuff like that quite a bit. So maybe that's something. It's
because we don't love on the I don't love on the prequels as much.
I'm the biggest prequel fan there is.
If I just loved, I'd like to see you and Meg fight for who's the bigger prequel fan. Like
yeah.
That. I want to say.
All your fault.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I don't think I committed to a YouTube when it was in that, when it was growing, and so we're seeing channel growth now. We're starting to like see it. Like when I first started doing YouTube seriously, we had like 100 views a day, and now our videos are getting like 1,000. So it's like it's kind of like grown by like 10 times what it was.
Since I've joined the show, might I add?
Since Rob came aboard.
Despite the haters who think
Yeah.
I ruined the show when it was better when it was at 100 views, Jason's what they're saying.
Rob, they just want the 10-minute videos. That's all they want. Just the 10-minute
Uh-huh.
videos, and that's it.
But that's what Meg has perfected, the under 10-minute video. Why would we compete with that? Like, seriously, like, she's so concise. I'm like, man, we have a conversation on here that goes on for an hour, which I enjoy, but she manages to distill it all down. Like, clearly, I'm like, that's a super, I don't have that skill. That is talent. Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing is like, I probably should do more like videos, sort of like Megs with my scoops, where I like just like literally like lay it out there, you know what I mean, and like make like the sort of explainer videos, if you will. And
isn't that why you have the website though, with like articles and
but
ads?
That's why I have the website. But I mean, it's weird because it's like, like when I had when I was doing the Star Wars podcast, it was like the most downloads I ever had was easy to remember because it was 66,000. And it was 66,000 downloads and it was like at the height of TFA when there was the most people getting into that stuff. And the Star Wars podcast market wasn't oversaturated with like, oh, we're the R2D2's leg podcast. We're the Star Wars we're the Bantha Saddles podcast, even a better name than most of them. But they just like they just like look at something, just go, oh, we're the Sith Lightning podcast. We're the Star Wars logo podcast. They're just fucking everybody trying to. So, but what that did,
to be honest, the Star Wars logo podcast sounds pretty cool. Probably. If they could just 2-hour podcast talking about Star Wars logos.
I'd listen to it. I would listen to it.
Could fill that content.
But what that did though was it pretty much like all these people who do like 1 or 2 podcasts made it where like when you go to search for a podcast, kind of killed it. So like instead of like everybody going to like, oh, here are the best ones or whatever, and I don't like gatekeeping, so I don't want just like the best ones being the ones that people can see, because then you end up with a shitty situation there. But anyways, but point being was there's like these days where we're like the biggest podcast. I'm like I think I made it to number 3 on the iTunes TV and film like ratings. Like, wow, that's like, that's not bad. I'll take it. That's an accomplishment. But then I go on YouTube and some fucking idiot's just like, I think it would be fucking cool if Sebulba had a pod race show on Netflix. 140,000 downloads. And I'm just like, well, I did the pod for exposure for the site. Everything I was doing at the time was about funneling in the traction to the site. And I was just like, yeah, this world is fucking crazy.
Yeah, None of this makes sense. I think with you that other people just talk shit and they get the views. You just keep it real, and you're not the type of person to ever talk shit just for views and clicks and all that. So you just keep it real. So eventually it will grow to where it deserves to be.
Fingers crossed. But I will also say too that like Star Wars Theory, like on one hand, I think he has like a really good, like when I mean this respectfully, like his gimmick or his angle, whatever you want to call it, what he does is like good in the sense that like he's not reliant upon leaks for traction. He just kind of tells people what they want to hear about things. Do you know what I mean? And so like hey, it's fucking, if it gets you a Lambo, fucking keep doing it, man. You know what I mean? Good work. But like I said, I just need a Prius. So that's why the super chats, the channel members, all that stuff, it is appreciated. I do appreciate that. And thank you, Lewis, and Nash for the super chat. Like it really makes a difference. If and the more that people do contribute to the show, the more I can do. Like
the more likes you can get.
Well, yeah, the more travel I can do, all kinds of shit. But yeah, are we getting episode 10, 11, and 12? Like I said, right now the answer is no. We're not. But
why would you want it right now too? Like no offense, folks. Like they haven't been very good with these numerical saga films. They've done much better creatively on the one-offs. Rogue One, Solo, more creative than what you're seeing I think there's too much pressure right now with those numerical films. I think they need to take the pressure. Imagine if every fucking Marvel film had to be another Infinity War film. Just try to get your head around that. Now that's Infinity Crusade, and the next one's Infinity Strike, and the next one's Infinity. It's tough, you know. Like,
Right.
Yeah, I think there's power in those numbers, though. People want the number, right? Because it's a story you can follow. And that I was thinking about this too yesterday. They just, other than the Mando, they haven't at all created a story you can follow. I don't know what the High Republic is on a glance, you know? I keep looking at it. There's different characters on every fucking cover. Yeah. Like if you go, you go to those Heir to the Empire covers, it's the same characters on 3 covers. You know what I mean? Like, you know who you're following. I don't fucking know, man. They're not good at this right now. They gotta really start developing like a story you can follow. And like Fallen Order might be the other thing that they've successfully done. And the cartoons obviously have characters with through lines that have continued on. But it seems to me that they're hell bent on starting all new characters with the next film. So
well, that was kind of where they were trying to take the Skywalker. It's weird because they decided to brand it as the Skywalker saga, but that's what they were trying to like do. They were essentially at one point going like, we think it's the better idea to start making new characters where we could branch out from this and right. kick off, leave it behind. But realistically, I think that at least like the West, we care too much about maybe, I don't know, maybe everywhere, but we care too much about the about lineage, about who your parents were and who they are. It's like a weird case system mentality that we have that we should really do away with, in my opinion. I don't think it should matter who your parents were. I mean, most people who are great have asshole idiot kids for the most part.
Yeah. And the only reason why it mattered to Luke Skywalker in that first film is because his father happened to, like, I don't know, murder half the fucking galaxy.
Yeah.
Like you can't keep creating parents who murder half the galaxies and that mean anything. You know?
Well, yeah,
like,
had Luke been the big bad, had Luke fallen to the dark side and been evil by that point, people would have been very angry about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, I think so, yeah. Anyways. But I guess, like, and once again, I appreciate the super chat, so I want to make sure we explore this like as much as we can, But the one thing I would say is that what you do have, though, is you have the lineage actually over. They are, it's right now, Luke, Leia, Han, and Kylo or Ben Solo are all dead, and you can't go anywhere with it necessarily, not exactly. And they spring out of this virgin birth, the virgins in the Force, that got Shmi pregnant. I still think she went out there to pick up some shrooms off the evaporators and some shit went down. And I think Anakin's half Tusken personally, but I don't believe her. But
no, he's gonna pull that white guy move. I'm 3/16 Tusken, right? Like they'll do that shit.
Oh yeah, when I killed him,
I can go make Lone Ranger. I can go make the Lone Ranger sequel where it's a Tusken, and so why am I doing Lucas's voice? But like. But it's stupid.
But we do have Kylo's death put into this really strange, like, mystical place where they sort of transfer essence, if you will, to Rey, so that way she lives. And I kind of think through that magical mumbo jumbo, they can find a way to resurrect Ben Solo. I'm a proponent of the concept of resurrecting Ben Solo, but then having that, like the old, like how magic is supposed to work. If you believe in magic, is that there's ramifications for doing things. And the original concept that they were going with Snoke and Plagueis is that when they put the shroud of the dark side over the galaxy, so that the Jedi could not detect the Sith, that brought back the consequence, and that was Anakin being born. And then Palpatine's like, well, I got an idea. I'm going to turn the consequence to my favor. And that's what he does for about 20 years. And pretty good idea, Palpatine.
Really nice that stuff was in the films.
Well, if you watch the Clone Wars, you'd see it all.
Yeah, great. Wonderful.
I think Adam Driver would want to return though, because he just I didn't see him do any press interviews, nothing at all. So I don't know.
Here's what happened. I cannot 100% say how accurate this is. 100%, okay? Because I don't know Adam Driver, but what I heard was they were filming, and I did talk about something happened. I just never went into like details, but they were filming in Jordan, and at one point, it's not going. He's not happy. Adam Driver's not happy about something, and at one point he leaves early, and a stand-in. At one point, I heard it was even a lady was the stand-in for Adam Driver as Kylo Ren, and played Kylo Ren in some of the parts in Jordan. And I don't know if they used any of that or whatever. But anyways, what was going on was the Reylos were going absolutely fucking bonkers. Like fucking, they were going straight up crazy. And they were doing things like sending pictures of his child in the nursery from the window, photos that they had taken, and they were. And even if it's true, it's none of your fucking business. But they were. Right. There was this rumor that his wife and his wife's sister were pregnant at the same time, and maybe there was pregnancy loss or something that's very private, nobody's business. I don't know. But then they're trying to say that the baby was actually like the sisters, and then that the baby was the product.
What the fuck is wrong with people, bro?
No. But they started. So anyways, yeah, it was wild shit. Like they would write me some of this shit and be like, here's what's going on, and then they were like taking pictures of his house and sending it to his wife. They're saying that the wife cheated, like and none of that's anybody's business whatsoever. It's probably not true in any way at all. But eventually, I believe what I had heard from some crew members was that he was very upset about the Star Wars fans fucking wackadoodle bullshit, Reylos,
right?
And that he left, that he went home to be with his wife and his child, and just all this like fucking crazy like shit because a bunch of weirdos saw that fucking sexy ass fucking handball wall of a chest and started flicking their beans, getting crazy on him. You know what I mean? And so did that burn him out? I'm sure it did. At the same time, I will say as much as and I'm not, this isn't all Reylos. I'm gonna make it clear. I would even consider myself to be kind of a Reylo in the sense that I wanted them to get together. I thought it made sense. I thought there was that the whole point of Star Wars is that love can save you and that anybody can be redeemed. And how do you do that but for love? And who is he going to love in the series but Rey? You can't love Palpatine, can't love Poe and Finn necessarily. And, in terms of how the story was going, there's no family member alive that he can, you know what I mean? His mommy could have saved him, but then Carrie was dead. So what were you going to do? So I was always that's the logical way to take the story. But anyways, with all of that in mind, is that a product of Reylo or a product of celebrity culture? I think it's actually a product of celebrity culture, celebrity worship, this weird ideation of these people that are just actors. And for the record, actors are fucking dumb. I'm not saying he's dumb or any, but for the most part, go to LA, talk to actors for a couple hours. Dumbest people you're ever going to meet. Fucking, they're not even people.
Look,
that's why they're good at.
I'm just going to be honest. Listen to any interview where they speak to a director or a writer, and then listen to the actors and tell me which one you want to listen to. Right? Like just every time.
For the. So, anyways, but what I'm going to answer, to go back to like what Luis is asking and what Chris was getting at. Do I think he would go back to being Kylo Ren? And the answer is yes, because this is his reality now, as he became a worldwide superstar thanks to Star Wars and his other films. That's the reality that he lives in now, and he might as well be financially compensated for it. And every time he does something like Star Wars, that's when he could go and he could do a riskier film. if he wants to have his cake and eat it too, I do think that Adam Driver is highly intelligent, for the record. I don't think he's dumb. And but he
that's not what
he
you're
wants
saying.
no, yeah, but if he wants his cake and to eat it too, if he wants to be an artist and he wants to be if he wants money, he's got to do the Star Wars in that. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, and I always say, if you could get Harrison Ford back fucking twice and as Indiana Jones again, Adam Driver has no fucking chance. He's back.
Here's a question for you, Jason. Like, if Rian Johnson doesn't make The Last Jedi, does he make Knives Out with that cast? Or does he end up making Knives Out with like a real low budget indie cast, like the Brothers Bloom cast, right?
Yeah. I'm actually of the opinion that it would have been better with that cast. It would have been better with it on Knives Out. I'm not a fan of movie stars. Just to be like straight up about it, for the most part. I don't like movie stars. I think they take me out of films more than they put me in, for the most part. That's why, Robert Pattinson, in the end, my favorite Batman since Michael Keaton. I'm going to say it. My favorite Batman since Michael Keaton. That said, was not very jazzed that he was cast as Batman. I was like, oh God, it would have been cooler if they just found somebody I never heard of. Because it's hard to divorce celebrity and things you've seen before, and people, especially
everyone
when people
knows
aren't.
Kevin Conroy's the best Batman ever, Jason. Don't you understand? I don't care if he's animated. He's real. Okay. He's real. He's a real voice, man. He's the best Batman.
Morty, I'm talking live action, Morty.
No, he's the best Batman.
I feel like no, I basically like when Woody Harrelson was put in to solo a Star Wars story, I was a bit like, but then I also was like, well, Woody Harrelson's kind of old now, and like at that point, they're like, once they get old and they enter into like a different phase of their career, that's when I let it go a bit.
But the entire cast of Knives Out. They're mostly old.
Yeah,
Don Johnson, people don't remember. I love that movie, man. I'm saying, like, I don't think that film is noticed, and I don't think he gets the Knives Out 2 and 3 deal if he didn't do The Last Jedi. Is what I'm trying to say, though. Like,
sure.
So even that film benefited whether you like it or not, it benefits. Like everyone involved. If you've got talent, you're able to take that talent to the next level if you're savvy, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't, then you're like, that's all I'm good for is the Star Wars. But I think, he's super talented. This is where, too, taking those characters off the big screen, putting them in a Disney Plus, that then sets them up for the 10, 11, 12 would be the better way to do. Like, give the story some time to go low key and then move them off the Disney Plus onto the big screen for 3 films.
Yeah.
Versus shoving them back. Because if you just shove them back in the movies for the first time, remember that trilogy? You were disappointed. It's just not, you want them to remember that shit on the Disney Plus you enjoyed. This is not go, remember Jakku? Like, don't do that. Unless the Battle Jakku you get to see happen on Disney Plus.
That's why a Mando movie should be happening. Like, exactly what you just said, Rob. A Mando movie makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, but they're not going to do it. I think the next best thing would be if you give Daisy Ridley and Finn and all them their own little series, but then eventually you pair one of them up with Grogu, that carries you into the next 3 films. Kind of puts them all together.
You don't think it'd be a Mando movie to wrap it all
I
up?
think whatever the Mando movie could have been, they're probably going to do in season 3. That's sort of what I think, will they do it after the fact? Maybe they should, but for all we know right now, the only confirmed film they're working on is Rogue Squadron. So
they have, it's that and Taika.
Radio.
Taika.
Yeah.
And
Taika. You got me.
Yeah, the Taika one, a lot of people seem to think like that shit ain't happening. On the other hand, or it's so far away or whatever. And I think me and Bestman were talking the other day when we were playing Fortnite. I think we both agreed that there's most likely what's going to happen is Rogue Squadron will take the 2025 I think it was 2025 slot, and then both movies are being pushed by 2 years. Yeah, that was kind of our math that we came up with in the end. So
no Star Wars movie for 8 years. That's pretty
yeah, it's called getting your shit together. Sorry, I didn't know your daughter was there.
No, she can't hear. I have headphones on. You guys can say whatever you want. And also, Penny knows,
but
Penny knows that Daddy can say bad words, but Penny can't because she's a kid. When you're big, say all the bad words you want. It's fun.
But that's not true. They complain, Jason. They complain.
So Keeman Thomas asks, "What do you think of Deborah Chow as a director? Have your sources mentioned how her style has influenced the show? I really enjoyed her insight on The Mandalorian behind the scenes." Yeah, I mean, she seems to be a director who people feel like they don't have to second guess. Like she has answers. That's one of the things that I had heard was when you asked Deborah Chow a question about what you're supposed to do. There's no really thinking about it. She actually has the answer.
Right.
So
yeah, that's the director's most important job is making decisions and not just put the light there or I think it's like you have to know everything inside and out. That's generally why when you get a writer-director combo, then you got a person that incepted the whole idea one way or the other, in their head. Like they just know the ins and outs. But in this case, I mean, she was pretty heavily influenced on the script, right? Like with the writers and stuff. So
yeah. It sounds like she was part of like the sort of revision of from what she was saying. I think it was an EW
revision.
I like where you're going with that. No, actually I hate it. I hate you, Rob. Hate your guts, man.
Fair enough. Love you too, buddy.
Yeah. Chris wants to know, why haven't you become a channel member to support the channel? Boy, that's a question only you can answer. I'm so dumb.
Clever question.
Yeah. Oh, and super chats help. Super chats do help. They really do. Sup, Harry? How's it going? Was the leaked video real? I believe it was. I did not see that video, but over the summer I saw a video over the summer that I talked about, I wrote about, and you can see elements of it. And I believe that to be the same Darth Vader I saw. So in my opinion, it's real.
Yeah, so, Jason doesn't spend an hour talking about BS videos. Like, there's plenty of those going around right now.
Yeah, Harry, we did like a whole long video on it. If you want to see like our reactions to it and stuff like that. And as a kid, Baymax says, as a kid, Slave One wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, it really wasn't. It was kind of like
to all you non-artist peoples, to kids like me and my one Asian art friend, Asian kid. Mm-hmm. Who could draw the fuck out of Optimus Prime. That bastard was so good. Yeah, but that's when I understood what shape design was, because he would go, look, it's like a conch shell or snail shell. He would show me, And I was like, I never thought, okay, so this is like an X. Because I was trying to figure out what the shape of that ship was, why I liked it, right? Because if the X-Wing fighters, TIE fighters are like H's or T's, the Millennium Falcon's a cookie. Who doesn't like cookies?
Yeah.
But, yeah, that it has a unique shape that no other ship, and he doesn't repeat that shape at all.
Do you know about how do you know its backstory about how it came about? Are you aware of that one?
Old Joe Johnston? I don't. Yeah, other than that, I don't really.
Yeah, Joe Johnston, when they were filming, maybe he was working during Empire production. He was like walking in England, I think around Elstree Studios, I want to say. And then he sees a light post, like a light post up, and he notices it's the same, like that shape. And so he based it off of the shape of a light post.
Smart.
Yeah. We should. I'll try to do a search later on today, and I'll try to find a picture of the light post that he based it on. See if I can find it. I would imagine that light post hasn't been used in years, since that was 70, 78, 79.
We could make the Mecca trip out to the light post. That'd be great. Our first
the exact one.
Overseas travel. Yeah.
Yeah. Sheev says, I think Attack of the Clones as a kid and the sound effects made Slave One iconic. I do love the that bass guitar sound that they use for those bombs. Star Wars Santa says,
the sound design there was great.
Oh yeah, big time. Slave one Santa. Oh yeah, I was thinking today. What if we teach Rob how to play guitar, and then he goes and cuts in, competes with Star Wars Santa, and becomes Star Wars Santana. Huh?
My buddy who passed away last summer, his birthday was 2 days ago.
Yeah,
he could play the guitar, and when we met in the army, I was like, "You should teach me to play the guitar." So when I meet the ladies, I got a skill. And then I realized what guitars do to your fingers, and I'm like, no, I need my hands. These are sensitive drawing hands. I'm not doing that to my fingers.
Yeah,
that will not happen.
So Santa says, Slave One, and by the way, today at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, me and Santa will be hanging out, and we'll be on the stream that we were talking about earlier, and I will tweet out the link after the show. To the show, so you guys could watch, and the donation link, and also my last article about Reva has a link to the video, and has the donation link. Penny, I'm gonna put you in carbonite. Can I put you in carbonite until the show's done? No.
Wish we could. Can we just?
Are you gonna fire me?
Yeah.
All right.
Fired me too many times.
Yeah, I fire Penny all the time. Whenever she drops something, you're fired. So I tell her. So anyways, Santa says Slave One is much better for me now. Never much of a Boba fan until the Mando Book of Boba Fett, so the ship wasn't all that iconic for me. The Razor Crest is my new favorite. So yeah, but you have to say that.
I can agree with that.
All the big money on the ship, just like Rob. Me, I'm like, it's all right. Kid, I kid.
You spent the equivalent amount on Fortnite. I don't want to hear anything about it. At least I could hold my ship.
I'm
one day you're gonna be hold on to memories.
You know what? You know what's funny though is Penny, don't shake the desk, please. Please. Basically, what ends up happening here is Fortnite skins. I bought my kids all of the Force Awakens figures. Last Jedi, Solo, a Star Wars story, and all the pictures of them playing with them, all that kind of stuff. You know where all that stuff is? I have no idea, but still got the Rey skin. Still got it. Just gonna throw it out there. That stuff's gone, but the skins, they live on. Sheep the Wise says LRM thought that Callus would be Rupert, and is clearly the Grand Inquisitor. Okay, so they had like the legit casting part down, but they attributed it to a character who they just thought he must be that or something. So do it. I don't know, but do it. Craig Sheldon, thanks for being a channel member, dude. Much appreciated. Craig, sometimes I feel like I just don't let you know how much I appreciate you and how you're just, real important to me, man. No, anyways, ask you anything. Okay. Did you ever have Kellogg's C-3POs back in the day? And follow-up question, what's your favorite breakfast cereal mascot? So up front, yeah, I had a lot of C-3PO cereal back in the day. Like I liked the mask on the back. And I actually became friends with a kid in the neighborhood because of those masks. But what happened was I had I think it was the Luke Skywalker one, and he might have had like a stormtrooper one, I want to say, and we both had it, and you just like tied the string to it, and you had like a mask. Now you were the character, and we started playing. Well, later on, we lost those. We didn't have them, and then so I drew a Darth Vader, cut it out, put the paper on my face, probably looked like a nightmare, honestly, and taped it to myself, to my forehead with some Scotch tape, and knocked on his door and was like, hey, can he come out and play? And he couldn't. But you know what he said? He's like, I can't come out and play. My dad says I gotta do my chores. I was like, all right, I'm Darth Vader. Bye. And then he's like, want to borrow my TIE Fighter? I was like, yeah. So he let me borrow his TIE Fighter. So I actually didn't have the TIE Fighter when I was a kid, but I was borrowed his. So I just go knock on his door. Hey, can I borrow your TIE Fighter? And he'd be like, yeah. I'd borrow it and bring it back. But anyways, but yeah, I used to they weren't any good, but my love of C-3PO and Star Wars and the commercials, like when the commercials would come on, Like my ears would perk up. I was like, what is it? There it is. It's Star Wars. And every time I saw the trailer, I hoped it was every time I saw the ad, I hoped it was a trailer for a new movie.
I like my Captain Crunch cereal. Droid 3POs taste like Star Wars fandom.
Yeah.
So it's like to eat your own fandom, just one groveling fucking bite at a time. The most I can describe it is that scene in Ren and Stimpy when Ren eats the gritty kitty litter to prove it stays crunchy even in milk. Like, it's not good, man. It's the worst cereal I've ever eaten.
I gotta say though, would you want to hang out with Captain Crunch? Because he looks like a weirdo. I would think I would want to hang out with Sugar Bear.
Captain Crunch has crunch berries, man.
Or was it Golden Crisp? With some of that
He's got peanut butter crunch. Yeah, peanut butter crunch and crunch. He's got Christmas crunch. He's got the best derivatives.
He does
of all the cereals. You don't do Christmas bran. You mentioned
Sugar Bear is gonna get you laid with just his excess, just like what he's not picking up, like proximity.
He sells smack. That's true.
That Golden Crisp,
Sugar Smack.
Whatever.
Oh, Sugar Smacks was the frog. I like the frog, man.
Yeah, that frog.
I'm more down with the frog.
He sold out when he didn't he become like the CW logo though at some point or some shit? It was really close. I consider him a sellout.
No, he sold out when he joined the QAnoners. Fucking ruined the internet. Like,
oh, when he grew up to become Pepe?
Yeah, he got radicalized. That poor fucking cereal eating frog. All that sugar went to his fucking head. That's a VH1 true story waiting to happen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, we don't have any of those cereals here, so I can't really join in this conversation. But I can say that Ren and Stimpy was one of my favorite cartoons growing up.
What year were you born? Can I ask you that on the show?
87.
87?
Yeah.
So I believe I think it was out by 86. I think C3POs were like 84 to 86.
Yeah, I missed out.
Yeah.
You did not. Lucky. Look, my brothers, my little brothers, they were around your age, and a lot of their foods when they were kids was like sours or extreme things. I don't know if it was that way in Australia, but it was like everything was sour or extreme, and I was always like, there's no subtlety to your food. But then I think about 3POs, and I'm like, that's what happens when subtlety goes one step too fucking far.
I will say though, man, right now, if I could, I would fuck up some Ghostbusters cereal right now. I just fucking go. I'd eat the whole box.
My go-to was the TMNT cereal.
Do you guys have Fruit Loops over there?
Fruit Loops! Oh, Fruit Loops.
They're disgusting.
I want to throw up when I think of Fruit Loops because of the Han Stormtrooper figure. I think I'd eat 5 boxes to get one figure. I needed one to open, one to keep in the box, and then I just kept going. And Fruit Loops, oh man, I can't stand it. My parents were like, listen, if you're eating it, it's okay. I was like, yeah, I'm eating it. By the end of it, I was making bowls of it and then like pouring it into the sink to like get rid of it. I was like, I was funneling it out to get the proofs of purchase.
I'm sorry that happened to you. Sounds like
the only rainbow colored cereal that I love was Fruity Pebbles. Both those Pebble cereals were equally fruity and cocoa. What do you have? What were the number? Give us the top 3 cereals when you were a kid.
I'll give you my top 3.
Yeah.
Fruit Loops, Cocoa Pops, and Nutri-Grain.
Nutri-Grain.
All right, so Fruity Pebbles was like if Fruit Loops was good, this was even better.
Oh, really?
Same with Cocoa Puffs and Cocoa Pebbles, because they were smaller bites, so they had a better texture, and the flavor was, I don't know, it's just better. It was a better blend, whatever they did. Like, so you would have liked both those. Nature Brand. I mean, I was like a shred of wheat guy, especially if it had the little fruits in it, right? Or with raisins. So I get it,
So what's Lucky Charms then? Isn't that like Fruity Pebbles or some shit like that?
No. That's marshmallows with like a Cheerios like component. So it's part. It's one of the better ones.
It's like sweetened Cheerios with marshmallows. Yeah. The C3POs were not unlike the sweetened. The same sweetened kind of Cheerio kind of thing, but they weren't really sweet. you literally had to put sugar on it as a kid to make it palatable.
That sucks.
You had to like sugar. You had to like, and
like
and
everyone knew the only real Cheerios was Honey Nut Cheerios. There was no Cheerios. You got Honey Nut Cheerios or you didn't fucking eat it. Like
but do you remember like when you were able to put spoonfuls of sugar onto your cereal and how you'd have like that milk sugar blend on the bottom of the bowl?
I didn't like it because of that gritty fucking sugar. I can't stand that. Like my whole thing was
I was like
with Cheerios, I was like, yeah, my dad was like, I'm gonna get, because my dad got diabetes, and he was like, no, I'm gonna make sure you don't get it. Never mind you, my dad was fucking colossally overweight, but all right, Dad. So he's like, here's Cheerios, no sugar, and I would just go, well, I got honey, you know what I mean? Like seems it's gotta work, right? Like,
should have showed him
quickly learn how you
cocoon. If he had seen,
honey does not dissolve in milk, just so you know.
Yeah,
just a gob of honey that is. It's horrible.
I got banned from playing a club when Four Locos came out because I had some Four Locos before, and then it started raining, and we were all really fucked up on Four Locos, and we still plugged in our stuff and started the show.
All right, but we got this. This is the part of the show for us. All right, so I'm going to ask. I get to ask questions. So, Chris, we got your top 3 cereals. Jason, what were your top 3 cereals? I'm assuming Ghostbusters #1.
Ghostbusters is pretty much up there, man. And, I would obviously fucking, I mean, are we talking about how much I fucking shoveled into my fat little belly? Or just
like if you were a kid and you had to beg, what would be the 3 you'd go to, you know?
Yeah, it would be, I don't like it, but it would be C-3POs, Ghostbusters, and Batman. I was completely all about branding. 100%. Yeah. And and I remember going to my grandma's house and she had grape nuts. Shit. It was like grape nuts. All right.
They don't taste like grape or nuts. Like
no. It turns out grape nuts is like one of the most fattening things you can eat, I believe. It was something funny. It was like so horrible for you. It was not good. It was just like, mainlining fucking anyways. But yeah,
and I'll give you my 3 to wrap this up.
Oh, okay.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cereal was my #1 of all time. It's like Lucky Charms. It was like Lucky Charms, except instead of a crunchy like Cheerio, it had a Chex. Ooh. So the Chex was the crunch. So it was Chex with marshmallows.
I don't think I ever had it. I don't think I ever had it.
So good. And then 2 would be Cocoa Pebbles because it's the fucking greatest. And then frosted mini wheats with the fruit inside. Had a little fruit inside it, like the wheats with the fruit inside it. They were so expensive though. It was just easier to get the big shredded wheat cheap and then put some raisins in there. It was about the same texture, but yeah.
I think Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles though are probably like my best like cereal I shouldn't eat, but that's like if I could eat cereal right now, like as an adult in modern times.
Even now.
It holds up. It holds up.
I'm ashamed to say I'd probably eat an entire fucking box, which is why I don't allow myself near the cereal section. But, yeah. All right, there you go.
I guess we kind of all are Meg. KG. Neil says, "Am I the only one who wants more Ben Quadraneros?" Yeah, you are.
Look at little Annie.
I actually do like the ridiculousness of all of the pod race characters, though. I do think.
And if they just had the Henson crew behind it, I would have put it over the top. Mm-hmm. With that Muppet mayhem. It's just they didn't know what to do with. They didn't have that improv with the puppets. Whoever was there, they just didn't have it.
Yeah.
So that's why I would like to see more pod racing, but bring back the Henson studio to come in there and team up with ILM to get it done.
Yeah. They use Phil Tippett a lot to do a lot of the props and stuff, so would be kind of cool. But I will say, I guess Neil Scanlon and the work that he did on the sequel trilogy and the other movies was pretty stellar. You could pull out every now and then where you're like, I don't like that one or whatever, but overall they did some pretty magical stuff with the current puppets, like Baba Joe. We could argue to the cows come home about the relevancy of Baba Joe, but great, fantastic fucking puppet. You know what I mean? Really fun and that kind of work and stuff. So I got to get drunk with Neil Scanlon one night at the Star Wars bar. It was a good time. Yeah, he's a very nice man. Eric says Star Wars Episode 10, The Search for Spock. I believe it's called The Search for More Money. I think it was what it.
Spaceballs 2.
Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money. KG says there was some super crazy Raylos that gave all Raylos a bad name. Yeah, it's true. I mean, and that they were fucking maniacs. They were fucking maniacs. That's the only way to put it. And but I would say that people who want some basic romance in their Star Wars movies, I don't think that makes you a Raylo necessarily. It just means you want a good story. You want love and action, hurt and defeat and acceptance and all of these things going on, in a story. And I think that a lot of people got lumped in with that cult at the same time because they just wanted romance in the story, which is fine.
And if we think back to the show like Moonlighting, which was a whole show about will they, won't they, until they did and the show ended. But the will they, won't they, like that is the whole reason you make a situation like that. You want the fans that are debating and I want them to get together. I don't. What you don't want them to do is then track down Bruce Willis's girlfriend and sister, right?
I one time
start publishing horrendous shit.
One time when I said essentially what I've said today, I had somebody write me and say that they were going to kick my ass at Star Wars Celebration. You want to know why? Because I was condoning Rey's abuser.
Can I guess who that was off the air?
No, it wasn't that psycho. She got her account banned because she's fucking nuts. Okay. But anyways, that said, you end up with people who take this very operatic thing and start to apply reality to it, and that's where people lose me. Like,
who's also guilty of that is Neil deGrasse Tyson, who goes, and then this is why physics, when Millennium Falcon could never travel. Like, shut up, You're missing the mythological allegory of it all. And it's fun. Fucking no fun asshole.
Yeah, no. It's like if we go down that rabbit hole, we do have to see Luke Skywalker as a psychopath. His family gets murdered and he just fucking skipping right along like nothing ever happened. I was thinking about this. There was a paper that was a little bit tongue in cheek, probably, and a little bit just trying to like actually shine a light on it. But it was asking about like psychopathy and Anakin Skywalker and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, if he is one, if you ignore the fact that he has a force running through his body that is full of goodness and darkness, and he could do all of this stuff with his mind. It's not reality. And but that's where, like in terms of Star Wars, if you take the idea that Kylo Ren is an abuser, he's also a genocidal maniac murderer who killed billions. It's like at the point that he puts Rey into a chair to read her mind, barely cracks the fucking tip of the iceberg of the maniacal, realistic human that Kylo Ren or Ben Solo would be.
That's hot.
Right, but at the same time, if he wants to tie me to a chair, let's fucking do it. I'll play handball on that wall.
I told the show I told the story once on the show. I dated a girl for like a month in high school, and then I found out she was writing letters to David Berkowitz.
Yeah,
I was like, I mean, look, some guys might find that kind of crazy attractive, but I was like, no, not gonna do it. This is like marriage material. Let's go round 3. But
oh man, honestly, we probably dated the same girl because she was in San Diego. Yeah, I think I know her. No, I'm kidding. But what are you gonna do? But good thing you found out when you did. That's all I'll say. But Luis says that Robert Pattinson is also his favorite Batman since Michael Keaton. Yeah. All right. We just became Bat Bros. I'm
going to make an image for that one.
Bat Bros. Do you think repeatedly seeing dark side users come back to the light cheapens Vader's redemption, Return of the Jedi? It used to seem like returning from the dark side was something only Anakin did. You know what? I think it's
a fair take, man.
It's a fair take. It's a fair take, but it's also like, I mean, if you're asking about Reva in Obi-Wan, just let me say that there's still like kind of a twist to it. There's still something about it that isn't just like, there's more to it. That said, if I want to reconfigure your question unfairly, perhaps, but if I want to, and I will, is redemption ever supposed to be off the table in an allegory, in a fairy tale? I think the answer to that is it should always be on the table. So
it should just not be the focus of every time they go to make a series. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying this one in particular, but
yeah.
But like, if they just, I'm back to the dark side. No, I'm back to the light side. Like, it's just, that's gonna get old after very quickly. Like,
I think it automatically becomes like, yeah, it becomes like, like that fucking girl who fucking touched a titty when she was drunk at a party, and now she says she's bisexual for Twitter likes when she's never dated a woman. Become dark side becomes like that. You know what I'm saying? Though
one of the allegories I've had to learn.
And it's just
one of the allegories I've had to learn, Jason, since 2016 is that some of the people you love who are great turn fucking evil, and they're never coming back. They're brainwashed for life now. And like, what do you do?
Palpatine's that.
I thought
we've never had one reason to have any sympathy for Palpatine.
The problem is he's ghoulish looking. Like, I think the best example I've seen of this in modern genre storytelling would be Peacemaker's dad.
Yeah,
like, you're not getting through to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, no, there's that guy. That is who that is. And the question is, how much of that dude is embedded into you? Like that. And there are no final answers to that in the series, right? But that's the best I've seen that. Like, if you have, like, Shiv had a father, I'm assuming, but if you had shitty parent, like, what if, I don't know, like, that stuff sticks with some people, forever. So there's something there too,
Sure.
Yeah. But Lucas was a hopeful guy, right?
Yeah. I mean, it does become, it would be a bit played out, like if we see another redemptive kind of story arc or whatever like that. But also, I do think that now where we are, I think resurrecting Ben Solo in a way that also manages to somehow absolve him of what he's done and stuff like that would ultimately be a compelling story, because at the same time, Star Wars is melodrama. It is back and forth between, the pool between the good and light and stuff like that. So there is an element of it that I don't know if you can shake off and people still feel like it's Star Wars to them. That's why
I think that lightsaber battle in The Last Jedi with Rey and Kylo is pretty good, because that back and forth, like, he's fighting for, it's switching during the fight, right? Like, she and him could easily turn on one another and then protect one another. Like it's quickly turning on a dime, and that is actually quite interesting. I find that fantastic. As for him being redeemed, I think that can happen fairly easy with him, because I don't think his murdering of his father was much earned anyway. Like, had we known that character through a whole film, and then in the second film he make a decision and kill us, Han Solo, then we could say, okay, we can see, like, he's gone. I don't know, like, there wasn't enough there to know to begin with. Does that make sense? Like, you have to assume a lot of member berries. You have to eat a whole bowl full of member berries to make up the distance on that one. So
yeah, and they wrote that scene to, like, be like there could be, like, more to it and twist. There's this thing, and I don't know if I have the courage to do it and all this stuff, and then they help me, and he's like, okay, I'll help you, and then he kills him. It's like, but I know. Anyways, Tross kind of messed it up with having Rey be a Palpatine. Oh, he was on the same. Star Wars says Knives Out explores some of the same notions that were set up in Last Jedi too: lineage of themes, iconic parent, criminal child, nobody parent, heroic child. Yeah, I think that's I think that is. I think that's like an important idea for our society, because otherwise we end up moving towards some sort of fucked up monarchy politically. You know what I mean? Like
we're already there with that. We gotta get out of it.
Yeah, no, exactly. But it's, you see the permissions for those kind of things seep in, and people don't even really realize it yet. Like if you ask most people, do you like monarchy? Do you think they would say no? But then you're like, do you think that the president you like's son and their son should be presidents? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, where does that come from? It comes from our construction of common sense, which comes from our stupid ass fairy tales. That's why, in a weird way, I think Star Wars is actually very radical, and it's sort of weird to see it. Also, why I think we're seeing this like tension between people who watch Star Wars and all of a sudden are getting mad at adults at it politically because they're realizing, oh, this doesn't actually line up with my fascism. So, anyways, Star Wars Santa says Tross kind of messed it up with having Rey be a Palpatine. I think Star Wars literally shot the bed with that. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Tyrant, what leaked video? Yeah, we did a video a couple of days ago. You can see it. And if you go to the channel, you'll see it's the Vader versus Obi-Wan. Like they're kind of doing a force pushy kind of moment. And olive juice. Oh yeah, I don't remember. Did we ever talk about olive juice on the show? Did we ever bring it back up?
Not since the day.
Okay, there was it was like one of the users' name was Olive Juice. And I remembered being a kid. I had this flashback after the show, not during the show, which would have been helpful. But what you do is you go up and you go say, Chris, look at Rob, okay? You say this, okay? And then I say, but before I go over to Rob, I go, Rob, Chris has something to tell you. Okay, Chris, look at Rob and just mouth olive juice to him. He just said he loves you. Say it again. And it looks like you're saying, I love you. It's like the same mouth moments when you try to read somebody's lips. So that was a joke that we used to play on each other in like elementary school. So that's probably where that name came from.
I feel really good doing that as a 34-year-old man.
That'll teach you. But now I got video of you saying I love you, and I could just watch it all day going, that Chris, I mean, that man of mine. Anyways, Rick Jones says that Driver was the best part of the sequels to me. If he came back, I hope it would include a retcon of episode 9. See, that's the thing, Rick. I'm actually working on a pretty in-depth review of episode 9. That's why I took a day off this week of the show, because I was going through it, and I'm dropping the kids off at their mom's, and I'm going to get back to it later. But anyways, because I want to really like get into it. Don't want to talk about episode 9 on the show anymore. We're in a way where I just keep going back to it to beat it up. I want to get it out.
20 minutes doing that today.
I know, because I haven't done the video yet. That's why I gotta do it. Gotta do the video, you guys. It's important. But Adam Driver is great. I don't want anything retconned. I want them to take what's there and foundationally leapfrog from it to someplace better. And
Wrath of Khan,
and then that way you feel like episode 9, it's our bastard little stepchild, but we need it. You know what I mean? Like, but because without it, we don't get where we needed to go. And if it goes that way, then it would be cool. But Tyrant says, sorry for the confusion. I had dental work and then I worked a full day, sore and tired, laugh out loud. Oh, nice. I mean, not nice, but I'm glad you got the dent that you're through.
You Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors. Oh God, this is the best. My favorite one-off cameo on a film of all time was Bill Murray in Little Shop of Horrors. It's just it's so good.
Mr. Ignacio says if all series at Disney Plus are connected, do you see the finale where Thrawn is the main villain? And it is the reveal that Shmi Skywalker was a forced child used by the Chiss to navigate the unknown regions. I don't see that last part, but could I see, and not even necessarily Thrawn, but for this example, we'll go with Thrawn. Could I see them coming up with a villain to sort of bring all of it under like one central bad guy, one central villain to bring all of these series in and have it work in this way? I think that would be a good idea. And I think we're going to kind of start. We may see the First Order start to become something like that, and the fact that yet the First Order isn't an empire yet, it's just simply like a very well armed militia group, could make it where you could have smaller stories with people like Ahsoka and the Rebels literally fighting them, never defeating them necessarily, but holding them at bay and having wins and drama and stuff like that unfolds. We're supposed to see Mandalorian start to give us more of the origins of the First Order. We're supposed to move more towards that pretty soon. So I could see something like that happening, but at the same time, Thrawn sounds like it's going to be more. Well, I don't know what it sounds like. I know what people believe. I don't believe anything, for the record, about Thrawn. And whenever you hear what people are talking about, I don't believe anything about Thrawn. I don't believe that the novels are any indication of what he's going to be in live action or the cartoon, but I do believe that the live action Thrawn is going to define the character more than anything ever has, for better or worse. And I think if Thrawn comes out and he rocks it, he's great. He's gonna really make a big splash. But I also think if he comes out and he doesn't and he sucks, I think Thrawn is pretty much used concept at that point, and it's over for him. He had his day, he had his chance, and I never thought he was really that amazing, to be honest with you. I never fell in love with the blue fucking Avatar looking Smurf. Just never did. But I'm hoping.
While you gush over Cad Bane, but okay.
Oh, Cad Bane's fucking awesome. He's an alien, dude.
Right?
He's just a blue man.
Or the blue Jedis with tentacles on their fucking heads, right? Sure. Okay, whatever.
Dude,
sure.
Ayla Secura's fucking hot, dude. You got problems, man. But
just pointing out his little hypocrisy here. Needs some consistency in the arguments.
No, what I want to say is I think people painted blue with that, and that's it. It's kind of lame.
Name one person painted blue in Avatar.
George Lucas.
Oh, that's true. He's the only one who actually went fully. Yeah, you got me on that one.
But I like in the George Lucas example, it's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be a bit absurd, and like that's where I'm like that's where I fall into it. But I am hoping that when I see Thrawn in live action, in whatever they do to make that character be a thing, I hope I am like, oh wow, that does look cool, and now I'm sold. But I've never I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of posturing with the character and not a lot of actual, once again, show don't tell, a lot of telling with Thrawn. That's my take.
They're going to need some smart writers. Otherwise, he's going to seem really stupid.
KG is all about the Cocoa Krispies. And looks like we are getting some stuff right here. You
know who is probably the most suited to write Thrawn, though, Jason? Rian Johnson.
Rian Johansson.
Yeah, like seriously though, like he can write. Like he's got a whole series coming out, murder mystery type series, procedural thing he's doing with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and this other actress, I can't remember her name. But looking forward to that. He's going to write and direct every episode.
Peacock. I have finally let my feud with Joseph Gordon-Levitt go. But man, when we were young,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah, when we were young, man, he was a shithead, dude. He would like go to shows that I was always at, but he would like go like he like walk up just to the very front, and be like, oh.
What?
And the bouncer would be like, what? He'd be like, oh, I'm on the list. Don't see you here. I'm on third rock from the sun. Yeah, he was a little douchebag. But
did you say he was the handsome kid?
Like super short, or is it just me?
Yeah, he was
like 5'5" or something.
I don't think it was that. I don't know if he was. It was short.
5'6".
Yeah, it wasn't very big, but he was. That was back in. Yeah, I remember one time at the whiskey for Weezer. He was there, and we were hanging out with the Awees. And he was really trying to get the attention. They were just like, what? but
I'm trying to say though, Jason. What I'm trying to say is someone who can write whodunits is better suited to be writing Thrawn than someone that just writes a structured screenplay. Just sure. Letting people know. Like,
yeah, no. I actually honestly think that Rian Johnson is almost too good of a filmmaker for Star Wars. So. Jordan Mason is the one who said Rupert Friend was callous, not LMR. Oh, okay, yeah. Jordan Mason also says that you don't need me, and you really don't. But if you want spoilers,
you don't need them.
Yeah, Jordan
I'm
Mason.
gonna do some kung fu. So, I say that
His kung fu videos. You just outed it. You just said it. They're fucking funny, though.
He never watches the show, Jason, but today he just happened to be watching right when I said that. So, right. But never watches. Just happened this
Bro,
one, and then I'm caught.
Your ass, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm quaking in my boots. Something says I can outrun this fucking guy. Just like, no, Chris. Yeah.
Will Morgan says, legit, if you don't think movies matter, tell that to the population of sharks after Jaws. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah. And somebody I just lost the point. Whoa. Oh, Craig Sheldon says Nintendo cereal was also amazing. Oh, yeah, there it is.
It was Captain Crunch cereal.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit different, but they ended up doing that thing with like the half skinny bag of Zelda and the half skinny bag of Mario. Remember that? That was fun.
Yeah, but the Donkey Kong one that Max brought up the other day, what I forgot to say is it came with these stickers, these little Mario, like those old retro Mario stickers, and they'd smell like coconut because of the Donkey Kong, because he had coconuts, and I used to get real high sniffing them fucking stickers when I was in kindergarten.
Scratch the sniff was a good time.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I want to see the Northman. It looks fun. I actually got invited to a screening of it, but I couldn't make it, and I wish I could have, because it looks like it's going to be a fun movie. Plus, fucking what's her name, Queen's Gambit. She makes me
Taylor-Joy.
She makes me go through a second puberty. Yeah.
That Queen's Gambit is this masterpiece for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. she's I say, God, you did it. You can quit now. You peaked, God. Just go make Aliens now or something. So that's what I say.
Cameron did make Aliens.
Well, come on.
Oh, sorry, you mentioned God. I just figured.
So cheeky.
I don't think Linda Hamilton agrees. Junkbox says, do you think if the sequel trilogy was released in the 90s, it would have been better received by the fans? Honestly, I think it was actually like pretty well received overall.
Wait, repeat that. The sequel trilogy was released in the 90s instead of the prequels.
I don't know.
I just don't see George Lucas doing anything the thing about the prequels that we're all like pretty consistent on is it's all over the place and the acting's stilted. I don't see that changing regardless if it's Mark Hamill or perhaps Harrison Ford would have forced personality into that at the time. But even then he was kind of going through that Bruce Willis phase where he said less, like he was, he wasn't doing the sticky, he wasn't doing the more comedic Harrison Ford stuff,
He was, he seemed overacting at that point. And when I say overacting, like I mean like over it. Like he didn't really seem like he cared about it anymore by that point. Right. So, but do I think it would be better received? I think if it had come out around the time of Batman '89, that was maybe the last window of people just being like, hey, everything is good. Because that generation around that time, we're used to things being shitty. And now today we're all a bunch of spoiled man brats who think that everything should be the best that ever happened to us. We need that dopamine high off of every single thing or it's shit. And
I got to tell you, Chris, when you were born, for a few years there was probably the worst in cinema. You missed it because you were just born, but it was really fucking bad. It's just a lot of films you're never going to fucking remember.
Yeah, 3 Men and a Baby was like the biggest fucking movie of the year one time. Think about that. Junkbox says, Rob, that's nothing. I once dated a girl that thought she was Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That sounds so fun.
That's much
totally
better.
That sounds like a
my
good
my
time.
girlfriend was writing letters to a serial killer, bro. Like are you fucking out of your mind? Like, are you out? And a serial killer talk to a fucking imaginary dog? I don't know, man. Like, I don't.
But I mean,
no,
Junkbox.
it's not worse.
if she could back it up and she looked like Buffy, I want to know why you didn't get married to Buffy. But I'm kidding.
Well, I might be guilty of that. I dated a girl that looked a lot like Buffy and did not. Anger. Yeah. She had a lot of anger, Jason.
That's fair.
A lot of anger.
Zooey says, is there any confirmation rumors for Purge Troopers in the Kenobi series? Yes. Yeah, I have an article up on MakingStarWars.net. There's a series I did on Jabim. It's one of the last maybe 5-6 articles I did probably. And in it, I have the Purge Troopers are a part of the series. Then they're on Jabim at least. They may be in other places, but I could definitely confirm that they're on the old Jabim. And Meg agrees 100%. They're fucking lunatics. And I think she means the Raylos. They can be fucking, that is 100% true. KG says, build on what's there. I always say that. No Name says, how exact Obi-Wan Vader? Me no.
Back to that rail. Did the Twilight series have it that bad with the will they won't they fans? Like, did they have to deal with that? Or is that just
I think Twilight probably, I don't know this for certain, but the fact that they were books coming to screen, I think probably made a lot of it like a lot easier. But I did a couple of days ago I did match with a girl on a dating app, and I was like reading her like profile more in depth after we matched, and she was like talking about some shit about Twilight, and there was something she was mad about some werewolf being a pedophile or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was something weird like that. So they definitely have their own shit too in the end. Yeah, but I think that it like it's easier when it's a book and then it's a movie, because like nothing should really surprise you in a huge way.
Marvel
like
kind of had it there for a minute with Black Widow and Hulk and Captain America, right? Like, aren't they all fucking mad that she liked Banner? And I don't know. It's one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard on the internet.
No, there's been academic studies about how fans who read spoilers enjoy the movies more. They enjoy it better, and it sets realistic expectations. And I've always felt like novels, in a weird way, are the originals before film to film, are the original spoilers. You know what I'm saying? Like a ton about it, and then it really sets you up for. And then if they go really really off track, like the current interview with the vampire, that literally breaks my heart and makes me want to fucking thrash around my room like the worst kind of fan that there is. But boy, does that look like it's going to be a shit show. And for no reason, Anne Rice wrote fucking series of books that all you got to do is film and put them on the fucking screen. And she liked movies, so she made them very cinematic. And nope, they got to change things for no reason. And it looks like shit. Fuck you, AMC. Suck my dick.
I've always felt that one of the biggest hypocrisy of comic book movie fans is that read the comics, right? Is that on one hand they go, I don't like the movies because they ain't the comics. That's not, Civil War didn't happen that way in the comics. Not accurate. And then simultaneously go, I want no spoilers. I'm like, but you read the comics. Like and your whole gripe here about being mad about the final product is that it didn't match your spoiler-filled fucking alcohol. I don't know. Like sometimes knowing things, I think knowing spoilers about what you're seeing, I think is not a problem, despite what people feel. In the way that how World War II ends unless you watch Inglourious Basterds. Like, no one's ever complained about Saving Private Ryan not being I don't know, the battle ended the way I thought it did. It's just ridiculous. But the fans who read the books or the comics and then are expecting a one-to-one translation, and then when they actually kind of get one in the Watchmen, complain about, I don't know, it's a weird. Remember they were saying Watchmen's too faithful? It's too faithful to the books. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that mean? I still don't get that one.
Well, that's weird. You just really can't please fans. You just almost have to have to just do what's best for the show, the movie, or whatever, and then hope that
That's
they're on board.
Real meaning of Star Wars, Jason. You can never
Unlike
please the fans.
AMC's Interview with the Vampire, which fucking sounds stupid. Sounds really fucking stupid. Anyways, Lego 4366 says, "Is Natalie Portman coming back to Star Wars?" There's no indications that she is so far. I don't believe she has anything to do with Kenobi, and that Bryce Dallas Howard stuff from yesterday, where they are kind of childhood friends, might be a little glimmer of hope for that if Bryce keeps making Star Wars stuff. But David says the Nintendo watches were the shit too. Yep. Also, Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Great show. Swatches.
That's
Louis says, is the new Thrawn in the new Thrawn novels, it is revealed that the Chiss were using the Force children to navigate through the unknown regions, and they were called Skywalkers. Do you think Shmi was a Skywalker? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I think that they have to respect the George Lucas stuff to some extent, though. And George Lucas's story is that they were Skywalkers. It's a common name. There's a bunch, and that her family was kidnapped and murdered, and she was sold into slavery. And that was the story that Lucas had. So they would, but at the same time, do I think that they would retcon or erase George Lucas' backstory to suit their needs? I think they probably already have. So.
Yeah, well, originally they were Smith Walkers, but it just didn't have the same zing. So it's a common name, Smith Walker. But
on a scale of 1 to 10 being crap and 10 being Taco Tuesday, how do you think it'd take to sprinkle enough burnt hair in the sequels to cover up the smell of crap? Says Green Bear, also Best Carboner.
It's a good AMA.
Yeah, I like well, you know, I really feel that way when I get to 9 mostly. And then our final question is from our best bud Chris, and he asks, Rob, where's the new Kenobi trailer? Yeah, you did it.
I don't know, man. We got a whole fucking month or two, buddy. I still say you already got close with Ewan coming out there apologizing. It's pretty close.
Yeah. Well, even though it showed absolutely no new footage, but yeah, sure, that could be a new trailer.
Sometimes new trailers don't show new footage, but that happens. Sometimes. You're gonna get one.
I will say I do feel like it feels like it's been a long time since the trailer.
Yeah, it's been
doesn't it already? Yeah, and I feel
all
like
this talk of Moon Knight, they're gonna want to remind people, and you're gonna get a new trailer, bro, and then you're gonna have to eat the Jack in the Box.
We're gonna get
the Taco Bills. Sorry,
we're gonna get new TV spots. We're not getting a new trailer. We're not getting a new 2-minute 10 trailer. It's not gonna happen.
TV spots. TV spots and like internet ads and stuff. Yeah, I can see that for sure. Last night, Penny and I were having a very important conversation about Taco Bell, and we were like, you know what? Why isn't it called Burrito Bell? Doesn't Burrito Bell sound better than Taco Bell?
Yeah,
Burrito Bell. I'm just throwing it out there. So I think we should start.
Burritos are better than tacos, just so people know.
I'm more of a taco guy. More of a taco guy myself. But
in order for tacos to work, you have to get them fresh off the tacos are meant to be on like a skewer, like a rotisserie, that they shave off the meat fresh. It's the same way like a kebab or something else. You're supposed to get that fresh. And that's supposed to be some boiled ground beef, you know what I mean? Fucking served up on a stale, crunchy fucking. It's ridiculous. Like it's.
But really quickly before we go, our buddy Fandom Empire channel member friend. Are you hungry?
I'm hungry.
What do you want to eat? Taco Bell, or should it be Burrito Bell? I told him about that. So he says, "What the force is up, gents? I've been talking with Jason about being obsessed with Revenge of the Sith material. That the novel for the movie by Matthew Stover is 100 times better than the movie, and I love the movie. Happy Easter. It's very, very good. It's beautifully written. Maybe one of the best Star Wars pieces of text out there. And I suggest if you've never read it or listened to the audiobook, definitely do it. You'll have a good time. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us today. D'Angelo also agrees that Burrito Bell is a better name. and thank you for being a channel member. Thank you for the super chats today, all that kind of jazz. Super appreciated. That continues. This will continue, and we'll be back. Is it Friday? Today Friday? Today's Friday.
Saturday for me.
Saturday for you. But come and hang out with us today on the charity stream. I'll tweet out the links to that in a bit. If you're awake, not you, Chris. You need to sleep, I'm sure. But at
Jason,
4 p.m.
Burrito Donna doesn't have the same ring to it. So
Burrito,
Burrito Donna. It's not the same kind of.
What about
a
Bespin
planet name?
What about a Bespin burrito?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That I like. That works.
All right. Anyways, well, here I go. This is me walking out, and we'll see you guys on Monday, and I'll see you at the charity stream later on today. I told you. Oh God.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.